They're getting f***ed in the ass because that's their ritual. That's their rite of passage to get to the next level.
They rape this nigga. They rape this nigga. Videotape it. Then when he in the meeting, they give him the contract. They play the video of him
We
getting
nervous, but we just do the boom, all right. He said, yeah, I like this. I don't like this light skin. This little nigga. I said, that's just melted in that office at 12. I said, look, I mean,
and you're 12 years old.
yeah. But
So look, I gotta ask.
yeah.
Your partner was dark skinned?
I mean, you got
I gotta ask.
Yeah, my brother was dark skinned.
Amidst all the buzz about Diddy lately, one thing that keeps popping up is his legendary parties. You know those gatherings where anything could happen? Well, it turns out they've been quite the scandalous affair. Rumors have swirled for ages about Diddy's involvement in some pretty shady stuff, like pressuring aspiring artists into compromising situations and getting them hooked on substances. But now, with 4 lawsuits in recent months, it seems like the truth is finally bubbling to the surface. But wait, there's more. More and more people are stepping forward with their own horror stories about Diddy's antics. And now Chris Brown is adding fuel to the fire by spilling the beans on what really goes down at those infamous parties. Apparently, they're like something out of a nightmare, with strict rules against any phones or cameras unless Diddy gives the okay. It's all starting to paint a pretty grim picture of what happens behind closed doors in the world of A-list celebs. So what exactly did Chris Brown reveal? Well, get ready because it's about to get seriously shocking.
Being in the room kind of made me like shaky. So I probably was nervous and singing crazy, but at the same time, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna pass on that.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna show him. Like, so that was my motivation to keep
For
going.
the past 5 months, Diddy's world has been rocked by one bombshell after another. It all started with Cassie's lawsuits, which opened the floodgates for even more shocking revelations. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably heard the whispers on the street. But just in case you missed it, let me catch you up. Cassie, who was Diddy's partner for a whopping 11 years, has made some serious accusations against him. She claims he didn't just hurt her emotionally and mentally, but physically too. And if that wasn't enough, the lawsuit alleges some pretty wild stuff. Like apparently he made Cassie carry his gun in her purse, once dangled one of her friends over a balcony, and even blew up a car belonging to rapper Kid Cudi, just because he showed interest in Cassie. Can you believe it? According to the lawsuit, Ms. Ventura crossed paths with Mr. Combs back in late 2005 when she was just 19, while he was a seasoned 37-year-old. Within months, she landed a significant 10-album recording deal with Bad Boy Records. It wasn't long before their professional relationship took a turn into romance, a few years down the line. Interestingly, the lawsuit doesn't put a specific dollar amount on the damages sought. Instead, it's about something much deeper. Ms. Ventura isn't just after money. She's seeking what she calls justice. It's about reclaiming the decade of her life that she feels Mr. Combs stole from her. She alleges that she did so through a barrage of threats, excessive substance use, physical and psychological mistreatment, and what she describes as SX slavery. Soon after Cassie's allegations, 2 more individuals came forward, claiming that Diddy had treated them similarly. And here's the twist. They were minors when it allegedly happened. Now you might ask, why didn't they speak up sooner? Well, going against someone as influential as P. Diddy back then was like trying to land on Jupiter. It seemed nearly impossible. But guess what? These accusations didn't just vanish into thin air. Diddy and his legal team stepped in and settled the matter. How? Well, they might have thrown some hefty sums of money at the situation or used other methods to hush it up. We can only guess. But what's certain is that these settlements only added fuel to the fire of suspicions about Diddy's behavior. Let's fast forward to February, where Diddy found himself in another storm of controversy. But this time, it wasn't a woman making the allegations. It was a man named Rodney Lil Rod Jones. Rodney has come forward accusing Combs of some serious stuff, SX mistreatment, substance exploitation, and even threats. And get this, he claims that it all happened between September 2022 and November 2023, while they were supposedly working together. Rodney says he's got video and audio proof of Diddy and his crew getting up to some really shady stuff for over a whole year. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Alongside Diddy, there are some other big names dragged into this lawsuit. We're talking about his own son, Justin, his chief of staff, Christina Coram, Universal Music Group CEO, Sir Lucian Grange, ex-Motown Records CEO, Ethiopia Habtemariam, and Love Records. According to Rodney's allegations, all these folks were a part of what he calls a RICO enterprise. And get this, these A-listers were apparently regulars at Diddy's notorious wild parties. Curious about these parties, I did a little Google research, and let me tell you, what I found was pretty shocking. It's like, why are these inappropriate pictures popping up when you search Diddy's wild parties? But hey, back in the day, these parties were the talk of the town, and if you got an invite, you were in for a real wild ride. It's been said that even Chris Brown himself attended one or two of Diddy's legendary parties. And let me tell you, he didn't hold back when describing them. They were wild to say the least, according to Brown. Diddy allegedly used to pair up artists, and get this, they were straight guys. Brown claims that Diddy would force these artists into some pretty horrifying bedroom scenarios while he watched. Now, these rumors have been floating around for years, but without any solid evidence, they were just brushed aside, and Diddy's fans continued to support him. But now, it seems like there's no more hiding from the truth. But wait, there's more to Diddy's personal life that's caught people's attention. There have been whispers about his romantic connections with none other than Will Smith, another big name rumored to be keeping his true preferences under wraps. Word on the street is that they've been seen getting into the groove at Diddy's parties. In 2016, the internet exploded with chatter when Alexis, who used to be married to Will Smith, made a shocking revelation. She claimed that catching Will in bed with record executive Benny Medina was the last straw that ended their marriage. Talk about bad timing. It all went down just as Will and Jada were making a fuss about the Oscars' lack of diversity. Alexis didn't hold back on Facebook. She called out what she saw as the couple's double standards and hinted that Jada might just be a front for Will. She even spilled the beans about a moment on the set of 6 Degrees of Separation, where Will supposedly threw a fit over having to kiss another man. Now, being gay isn't a big deal, but with Diddy, it's more than just that. Some say he's crossed the line into criminal territory by pressuring innocent artists into doing things they're not comfortable with. And before you rush to defend him, let me remind you of what happened with Usher and Justin under Diddy's influence. Let's turn back the clock a bit. Usher, just a young teen at 13, was sent by his mentor, L.A. Reid, to live with Diddy, hoping he'd learn the ropes from the experienced mogul. But what Usher experienced under Diddy's guidance went way beyond his years. There's always been a cloud of secrecy surrounding Usher's time with Diddy, and in a candid interview with Howard Stern, Usher hinted at some troubling and messed up aspects of that period in his life.
Hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
And Usher's decision to keep his kids far away from anything resembling a puffy camp says a lot about how serious his experience was. He made a promise never to expose his children to anything like what he went through, showing just how deeply it affected him. Usher even shared that Diddy pushed him to keep secrets from his own parents, adding another layer to the troubling nature of their relationship.
Jodeci, Mary J. Blige, they didn't know nothing about that.
Oh.
I was having a good time.
In a fascinating interview, Usher dropped some hints about Diddy's questionable actions, though he didn't come right out and say it. Usher's words seemed to hold back a bit, like he had more to spill but was saving it for a juicy tell-all book someday. He teased that back then, there were a lot of questionable SX scenes. And if that wasn't enough to keep the tongues wagging, there's a video floating around where Diddy accidentally let slip that he and Usher used to bunk together. In a candid moment, Diddy recalled their old days, laughing about the silly fights they had over who got the bed when Usher was just a youngin', around 10 years old. Now that's a revelation that'll have everyone talking.
That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause, but like, check this out. Back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother.
These situations, plus Diddy's slip-ups and Usher's careful hints, make it seem like we've missed the obvious truth, even though it was staring us in the face all along. Remember that cringe-worthy video of Diddy and Justin Bieber trying to hype up Diddy's album back in the early 20s? It's all starting to make sense now.
Arenas and everything, starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners.
This right here is my young brother right here. He's been a big supporter of mine. My album's coming out, and we got the crew going.
The encounter was seriously cringeworthy. Justin seemed all tongue-tied at the start of the video, and there was this strange moment where Diddy put his arm around him. We're not saying anything for sure, but it's curious how Justin Bieber hasn't spilled all the details about his time with Diddy and Usher. Sometimes silence says a lot, especially when rumors are swirling around. And get this, there's a video on YouTube where Diddy boasts about spending 48 whole hours alone with Justin. Makes you wonder what they were up to during all that time, doesn't it?
You ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy.
It's not just Usher and Justin. There are plenty of other young stars who might have had similar experiences, all kept under wraps. Take Brashear Gray, for instance. You know him from his killer performances on the Empire series, right? Well, if you're wondering where he is now, it looks like he's landed himself in some serious trouble, probably behind bars. His reputation has taken a beating lately, what with lawsuits flying left and right, accusing him of some pretty shady stuff like hurting his wife and stealing. But here's the kicker. Many folks think it all ties back to Diddy's influence. You see, there were whispers on the street about Brashear getting caught up in Diddy's wild parties. He was a regular at these shindigs, and people talked about Diddy's penchant for hanging out with younger stars. It was all quite scandalous, to say the least. Makes you wonder what really goes down at those parties, doesn't it? Now, Chris Brown really shook things up by dropping a major bombshell, suggesting that Brashear might have been more than just a party guest. He hinted that Brashear could have been mingling with the likes of Diddy, Lee Daniels, and Will Smith in some pretty intense situations. But hold on tight, because these are all just rumors swirling around. It's like a game of telephone where stories get twisted and turned as they spread. So it's best to take it all with a pinch of salt. But hold on to your seats, because this story is about to take an even more intriguing turn. As the allegations against Diddy continue to swirl, Chris Brown's theory doesn't seem all that far-fetched, especially when you dive into the latest legal troubles Diddy's facing, including a lawsuit from his own music producer. It's like piecing together a complex puzzle, and suddenly, Brashear's experiences seem to fit right into the larger picture. When you start connecting the dots, it's downright eerie how similar his story is to those who bravely stepped forward with accusations against Diddy and other big shots in the music biz. But here's where things start to get really murky. Rumor has it that Brashear began feeling uneasy about the whole scene. He started questioning his involvement and wanted out. According to the grapevine, Diddy didn't take too kindly to Brashear's change of heart. After wrapping up his role on Empire, Brashear dropped a few tracks that were gaining traction. But then, he seemingly disappeared from the scene without a trace. The plot thickens even more when you hear whispers that Diddy may have promised Brashear a record deal with Bad Boy Records, only to leave him high and dry in the end. Word on the street is that Brashear tried to shine a light on Diddy's alleged actions, which apparently didn't sit well with Charlie Mack, the industry insider who originally brought Brashear into the fold. However, there's a glimmer of hope amidst the chaos. Chris Brown supposedly stepped in to lend a helping hand, using his Hollywood connections to extricate Brashear from Diddy's clutches. But alas, the tale takes a bittersweet turn. Despite Hollywood's intervention, Brashear's career suffered a serious blow. Try as he might, he couldn't quite recover, leaving him to grapple with the aftermath of a storm that wreaked havoc on both his personal life and his professional aspirations. Now, here's another twist to consider in this tangled web of relationships. Chris Brown himself revealed that he narrowly escaped falling victim to Diddy's shady dealings. According to him, he was on the brink of signing with Bad Boy Records, but thankfully, he had the foresight to decline, or as he put it, Diddy actually turned him down. Why, you might ask? Because Chris Brown wasn't willing to play ball. According to him, he was offered a hefty sum of money in exchange for his silence. And if he had accepted the offer, he might have found himself in the same predicament as Cassie and the others. Talk about dodging a bullet. And if that wasn't crazy enough, just wait until you hear what other celebrities have been whispering about for years. One name that stands out is none other than Jaguar Wright. You see, Jaguar's been talking nonstop for years about how Diddy allegedly mistreated Cassie and how he used these parties to act out his wildest fantasies, which supposedly only involved men. She even claims that Diddy and Jamie Foxx hosted an exclusive naked basketball league just for men. Another person who's been consistently calling out Diddy is Cat Williams. He's also brought attention to Diddy and Jermaine Dupri, suggesting they might have done some shady stuff with the members of Criss Cross. Criss Cross, the duo of Chris Kelly and Chris Smith, became stars in the 90s at the ages of 12 and 13, with Jermaine Dupri playing a pivotal role in their rise. However, Cat Williams has insinuated that their relationship with Dupri and Diddy involved more than just music, suggesting inappropriate interactions under Jermaine Dupri's mentorship. Criss Cross released 3 albums, and rumors about Jermaine Dupri and Diddy's alleged misconduct began to spread, with Cat connecting these disturbing experiences to Chris Kelly's subsequent struggles with substance addiction. Tragically, Chris Kelly passed away in 2013, with his family acknowledging his battle with addiction and highlighting the difficult path he walked. An intriguing aspect is that the boys were wary of Jermaine Dupri from their first meeting at just 11 and 12 years old. They sensed something wasn't right when Dupri approached them at an Atlanta mall, proposing they become rap stars without even knowing who he was, leading to initial suspicions about his intentions. But Cat Williams didn't stop there. He went on to allege that Jermaine Dupri was not only engaged in these questionable activities, but also ignored similar behavior by others in the music industry. Rumors began to circulate about a disturbing practice between Diddy and Jermaine Dupri involving a bizarre exchange of artists among their circle, akin to trading collectibles, with claims of Diddy exploiting members of Danity Kane. In a bold move in 2011, Cat Williams released a freestyle where he openly addressed his concerns about Diddy and Jermaine Dupri, shedding light on the darker aspects of the music industry. The controversy deepens with allegations suggesting Jermaine Dupri wasn't acting alone. He was supposedly involving other high-profile figures, including Jada Pinkett Smith, in exploiting young talents like Chris Kelly. This network of influential people in the music industry is accused of leading Chris Kelly down a harmful path of substance addiction. Unfortunately, Chris Kelly's story is just one part of a larger, more disturbing narrative. Rumors have circulated that Diddy has been involved in questionable activities with young artists, but the saga doesn't stop there. In 2013, during the investigation of Jimmy Henchman, federal authorities turned their attention towards Diddy, suspecting he might have been involved in improper conduct. The suspicion was so strong that during a court proceeding, a prosecutor openly questioned connections between entertainers and their preferences, specifically inquiring about Sean Combs and his interactions with underage boys. The aim was clear: to uncover the truth behind some very dark accusations. Orlando Brown added to the controversy by claiming Diddy put him in compromising situations, including forcing him into acts. The allegations against Diddy extend beyond Chris Kelly, Criss Cross, Usher, Justin, and Brashear, introducing a shocking revelation from Chris Brown on the Drink Champs podcast. Chris Brown even shared that at the age of 12, Diddy made inappropriate advances towards him. This situation raises serious questions about why young talents were asked to perform for Diddy at his residence. Fortunately, he didn't get caught up in that situation, carefully avoiding any offers Diddy made. Now, he's fortunate he didn't have to go through what others might have experienced. It's a pretty daring situation, isn't it? It really makes you wonder if there are other young people out there who've gone through the same awful things Diddy allegedly did to those victims. And believe me, what we've talked about here is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Diddy's supposed misdeeds over the last couple of decades. There are even more shocking revelations out there that the public needs to hear about. Unfortunately, we can't cover it all in just one video. It'll definitely make you question if there's more to these celebrities than meets the eye. And of course, Diddy probably has more skeletons in his closet that need to be brought to light. That's all for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe and watch our other videos.